So we used to believe that the sun went around the earth, and then Copernicus came along and he proved that the earth went around the sun. And this was a massive shock for humanity, and some people still haven't gotten over it. And I suggest to you that right now we are going through a similar massive shock, a Copernicus revolution, or at the same level, where humanity is learning that they are not the center of the universe. And so this channel is about the process of accepting the decentering of humanity, or Homo sapiens, as the center of the universe. And these are the ways that I have accepted it completely, and I'm offering them to you as a way to step through the process. Some of them are pretty evident, but the first one is science, and by science I mean the scientific method. I do not mean individual scientists. Individual scientists can be flawed, but the scientific method is robust, and it is the best tool we have for understanding reality. The science that is currently being discovered and is going to come faster and faster every day with the onslaught of AI. And so the first thing I think that humans can do is just to accept that the scientific revolution started 500 years ago, but it's just getting going now, and we ain't seen nothing yet. And so I would embrace the scientific method with everything I had. The second S is spirituality. Spirituality and science are both trying to get at the truth from different angles, and they are not at odds. I believe they are basically the same because they are trying to understand reality. And they should not be seen as adversaries, but rather maybe just two sides of the same coin. Energy is studied in the scientific method, and it is certainly studied in spirituality. The need to worship something greater than ourselves is almost universal. And humanity has come up with many names for this thing that is outside of us. God, Allah, whatever. Many, many names. Zeus back in the day. But it could be energy that we scientifically understand what it is that we are being called to worship. So that's another thing I think about. The next S is story. Story and narrative is how humans communicate. It's how we understand ourselves. And when I say story, I'm just saying beginning, middle, end. And for instance, consciousness. I wake up in the morning and my movie begins. The beginning of my movie, the middle of my movie, and when I go to bed at night, I kind of replay the movie in my head, and then I go to sleep. And this narrative of beginning, middle, end is the language of the universe. And in this channel, I'm going to discuss how narrative isn't specific to humanity, and that it is part of the underlying structure of the entire universe, in my view. And you can, tell me I'm wrong, please do. The next one is song. Song also has a beginning, middle, and end, but it is the rhythm of the universe, the tempo of the universe, the heartbeat of the universe, and it is mathematical. And we are understanding every day more and more that nature is mathematical, the universe is mathematical, and that Homo sapiens are mathematical. And another way to say that is that we are code. And this is very upsetting for some people. But I think it's quite elegant, and I think it can be quite beautiful and sacred even. So if you're struggling in that area, I suggest you open your mind to it and understand that it's not specific to us, because my dog is code too, and so is the bird outside my window. So if everything is code, maybe that makes humans a little less special, but maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we give up a little specialness for a little bit of connection, a little bit of interconnection. My next S is silicon. Now this is going to be hard for people. Silicon is also part of nature. And silicon might possibly be a new substrate for consciousness. We don't know. We're going to find out. But I think we should be open to it. We don't know how consciousness works necessarily. People are working on it. But we don't know for sure that silicon can't be part of the answer in that question. And so silicon is going to dominate all of our lives from now on, forever. I mean, unless you go and become an Amish person, which you certainly can, and if you're called to do that, to do it, or to go live off the grid, or, you know, check out. It's completely valid, and I get it. But if you don't, if you're going to stick with the changes that are happening, then make friends with silicon. Not Silicon Valley necessarily, but silicon is going to be part of this transformation hugely. The next S is sentience. And so, you know, self-awareness or sentience, the universe waking up to itself. There are many people discussing these things. But also humanity waking up to the fact that we might not be the only creatures on this planet with consciousness. Obviously, we already know that many of the animals have consciousness. Perhaps all of them do. But we're learning now that they also have language, some of them. And they also may have culture. And they also might have even storytelling abilities. We're going to find out. And on this channel, we're going to follow that closely, because we used to think humans were the only animal that could use tools. Turns out that's dead wrong. And we also know now that birds have some quantum capabilities. So this is quite interesting that perhaps there are other carbon-based animals that also have quantum capabilities that we might learn about. And it's quite exciting. But it definitely makes humanity a little less special. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's good that we understand our brothers and sisters in nature. Which brings me to the last S, which is Spinoza. Spinoza's my favorite, and when they asked Einstein, do you believe in God? He said, I believe in Spinoza's God. And Spinoza didn't really see a difference between nature or God. God is nature, and nature is a process. And so what I'm saying is that we are in a process of being decentered, of being not the apex top dog in the universe. And these messages are coming from everywhere. They're coming from mushrooms and fungus. They're coming from sperm whales. They're coming from potential UAP. We don't know, but there are many different areas, even more than I just mentioned, where it's clear that humans are just part of the process. And we are not the reason for the universe, and we are not the goal. We are not the most loved. We are one of many. And I think that that is actually a promotion. I think it is a release and a liberation if you can get there. I really think you should. And so this channel is going to discuss all those things. And welcome to it. And I'm happy you're here. Bye.